Live from Uvalde, Texas, the Crossroads of Texas and America.
Texas Country at the Crossroads with Robert Miguel.
The best new country from the Lone Star State.
All right, we are live at the Uvalde Grand Opera House. I am Robert Miguel, upstairs in the White Room of the historic Opera House here, built in 1891, overlooking beautiful downtown Uvalde Plaza. And I'm here with Jerry. Now, Jerry, I never know if I'm saying your name right. Is it Almaraz?
Almaraz, yes, sir.
Almaraz, okay,
yes,
so I've been saying it right. Very good, okay. And now, is that Hispanic? Is that Latino?
I guess
what is
so.
that?
Yeah, my dad's from...
It looks like an offshoot of Alvarez.
Yeah, it's a town in Spain,
okay.
So I don't know if it's...
Spanish, that makes more sense than Mexican, I guess.
My dad's from Laredo, and mom's from Carrizo, so Mexican is what we roll with.
It's weird because you're a local, so everybody knows you. Except we don't know each other that well. So
yes,
whenever you say somebody's name wrong that everybody knows, it's so embarrassing. So,
but it's been getting screwed up since I set foot on this earth. Yeah, so
I'm sure it is. Yeah,
so I just whatever I go with it with whatever it is.
DJs are the worst though because we're supposed to get everything right, and then so I always try to ask, and it is like I said, no shame in just making sure, right? Yeah. So Jerry Almaraz is here, and you got a new record, man. Is it a full length record or an EP? What would you call it?
It's really a single. But it has 3 songs, so what you call A-side, maybe B-side single.
Like a maxi single, what we call that in the old days. Yeah,
A-side, B-side with a bonus track or something.
Pre-EP. So, all right, very good, man. Well, we've got all 3 tracks, so let's go ahead and play them today. The album, I'll call it an album just for lack of a better word, is called Besides. Is that like a play on B-sides?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Oh, very good.
When I first wrote those songs... not that I don't like telling this story, but then it almost sounds like I don't like them, the songs, because it's B-sides. But I wasn't too keen of them at first, and I don't know. They just kind of grew on me after we got out of the studio and did them, and I'd listen to them, and they finally grew on me. But I was like, I don't know, I might go cut another 6 songs or so and keep these as B-side songs somewhere down the line,
right.
And I was like, I just need to put them out. They need to be out for the world to, listen to. I already recorded them. I could go back and edit them and whatnot. But I was like, that's the beauty of a record is you did it, you were in the moment, all that good stuff. And again, they grew on me. So I was like, I'm gonna.
And you can always write more.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you write more and you're more happy with them, you can call that A-side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I can build upon that, I guess. But yeah, that was kind of the story behind it. It was like I was kind of iffy about them at first, and I was like, I told a buddy of mine, I was like, these are kind of what I would think of B-sides for, a record. And but again, they grew on me after we got the mixes back. It was just like a whole, they did a really good job on the mixing.
Well, let's go and play one of them right now, and then we'll talk about the writing and the recording process. Yeah. And first of all, before we get into this, how many other recordings do you have? Is this your first set, or do you have other recorded works?
No, as far as in the studio and stuff, of course, on my voice memos and stuff like that, I got loads of stuff, but right now it's just kind of getting musicians into the studio and booking time and whatnot. But yeah, as far as on streaming services and stuff like that, this is all I got out right now.
This is the stuff. All right, very cool.
This is the start of it all.
So again, we got Jerry Almaraz here. We're going to do a track called Eternity off the B-Sides album. And give us a quick intro, Wes, of what this one's about, I guess.
Man, well, it's kind of about friends with benefits, but...
All right.
Yeah, so I guess that there's no way if we're,
You said enough right there. All
right,
let's listen to the lyrics
the whole
and the music.
Story.
Check it out. This is Eternity. This is Jerry Almaraz here on UvaldeRadio.net.
Never knows what's coming up the road, driving like the headlights have been killed forever. Any dreams ahead will never end, mind and the heart never get along together. Days pass and another sun rises, and it sets on the yellowfin and there it is in the back of his mind, dancing in the night to the rhythm of a full moon. And there they go, the rhythm of a full moon. There she sits with a fist in her cheek. Her eyes gaze blankly out into the distance. To this point there's been many good times. Thoughts like this always been non-existent. And days pass, another sun rises, and it sets on the elephant in the room. And there it is in the back of his mind, dancing in the night to the rhythm of a full moon. And there they go, to the rhythm of a full moon. Blank stares and hospital chairs, you can always count on tequila and bad weather. And her heart is already gone, 'cause eternity's not for the life of a wildflower. Pass, another sun rises, and it sets on the elephant in the room. And there it is in the back of his mind, dancing in the night to the rhythm of a full moon. And days pass, and another sun rises, and it sets on the elephant in the room. And there it is in the back of his mind, dancing in the night to the rhythm of a full moon. There they go, dancing on the full moon. There they are, just jaywalking on the moon.
All right, it's UvaldeRadio.net. It is Robert Miguel here live at the Uvalde Grand Opera House. We are upstairs in the White Room with my guest this week, Jerry Almaraz from Uvalde, local boy right here. Y'all make some noise. Just me and Jerry, sorry.
Yeah.
We'll only get one applause. But that was a track off his new 3-song EP, we'll call it, called Besides. And the song there is called Eternity. We were kind of yucking it up off the air, talking a little bit, so I didn't get a chance to really absorb a lot of it. But, man, obviously the first thing people are going to say is you definitely have kind of a rootsy folk kind of thing going on.
Right. Yes,
describe, what were your influences that I guess contributed to your sound?
Really, probably just going to like House Pasture and Concan and Lone Star growing up. Like I was telling you off air, my brothers were older, so my oldest the middle brother, he was a senior when I was like in 7th grade. And I had another friend, a good buddy of mine, whose sister was in the same grade. So we'd tag along with them to, like, they'd be going to Lone Star and stuff to go see Randy Rogers and Ryan Bingham and all these kind of whenever the, that Texas music scene was kind of around here and whatnot. And we'd somehow, I guess I was a, taller kid, maybe in junior high. I don't remember, but
they just let you in.
They let me in. I was like 12 years old, 13 years old, and I snuck into Lone Star. And I did, Joe, I'm sorry about that, man, if you listen to this, but
hey, as long as you were spending money, you don't care.
Yeah, and you definitely influenced me to play music, so you helped me out there big time, Joe. But anyways, yeah, so we'd go watch Randy Rogers and Kyle Park and Ryan Bingham and Cross Canadian Ragweed and all these older people.
Yeah,
and I was just mesmerized by it and the way that people were flocking towards Lone Star and going out. And then when I'd go to House Pasture, it was the same thing. It was just like these people on stage were just, everyone was, their eyes were locked on these people on stage. And I was like, I really want to kind of do this. And just took from their music and stuff like that.
Was there anything though in that, like the family? You had like a family music? Nobody.
My oldest brother was, like I said, he was really into Nirvana and like Blink-182 and kind of that whole '90s deal.
Right. Okay.
But he, as a musician does, they always, they figure out what a Nirvana get influenced by, and they kind of go back and back. Right. And I do that all the time as well.
Nirvana, you're going to discover Mudhoney, and then you're going to go back.
Exactly. Well, he was doing that whole deal, and he would go on just these kicks, where he was like on a Beatles kick for like a year and a half. So I'm
still on a Beatles kick.
Yeah,
since
exactly,
high, man.
exactly. So like some of the first songs I ever heard weren't like Mary Had a Little Lamb. It was like Yellow Submarine, that one's very kind of nursery rhyme-esque.
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely. So, my kids, Octopus's Garden, Yellow Submarine.
I love Yellow Submarine growing up. And like, again, Blink-182 is another one that I remember being like 3 or 4 cruising around in my mom's vehicle jamming that stuff, and we always had to skip certain songs because they were like turn it down when they'd cuss and stuff like that. And I had no idea what the whole deal behind that was.
It's
but
just a melody that you're responding to for sure.
But those were like the first records that I ever heard. Honestly, Nirvana, Blink-182, and the Beatles are the.
But in your music, you can hear kind of almost a 90s grunge kind of underlay. Yeah. I'm not going to say it sounds like
not
90s
at all,
grunge, but there's kind
influences.
of that vibe. The influence is certainly there. So, what else has it beyond the stuff you grew up with? Anything current that you're listening to that also contributes, or?
Again, going on kicks, I'll just like Bob Dylan was another one with the harmonica and stuff like that.
I was going to say you could really hear some Bob Dylan kind of influence, in that for sure.
That with like Ryan Bingham, I was a big Ryan Bingham fan, so kind of trace what he was influenced by, and stumbled upon Bob Dylan. And I don't think you can ever get through all of Bob Dylan's catalog.
Now, do you like earlier, clearer Bob Dylan or later, mumblier Bob Dylan?
I like early Bob Dylan, honestly.
I tend to like earlier stuff, too. A lot of people like his when he's a little incoherent. I like a little bit. I like his little bit more enunciation in my music, but
it depends, honestly, on kind of what day it is. But like I do find myself flocking towards the early stuff. Yeah. It's kind of, I don't know, it's just. He sounds real innocent and whatnot, just kind of a little dude, But yeah, I like that early stuff that he did a lot, especially with the harmonica and whatnot. Before it was just like I said, it was kind of just pure music.
Well, I love that. Political, I mean, you're a younger guy. You're not the youngest kid, but you're a young man, and it's good to know that you're doing your research and getting into that kind of, because a lot of people your age don't know who Bob Dylan is.
Definitely.
They're going to call him Bob Dylan. And it's smack him. But again, we got Jerry Almaraz here. Don't forget, you're playing tonight at Broadway 830, 7 to 10 p.m. There on the patio. It's Foursquare Friday, so there's going to be lots to do here in the downtown area. But if you want to step away from the plaza for a moment, enjoy some artisan pizza and a cold craft beer, Jerry will be playing on the outdoor patio. And stop on by, drop a couple bucks in the tip jar or the guitar case, whatever that case may be. And maybe, do you have any printed CDs for sale yet?
No, I don't have any physical
all digital
stuff.
Right now,
it's all digital. Okay. Again, with that marketing class, I guess.
But you can download it. You gotta, it's a risk. Spending money to investing in physical copies.
Physical stuff nowadays.
For sure. Well, let's go ahead and get another track on. I know you got your guitar here, so we'll try to, and you're on your harmonica too. Very nice.
Yes, sir.
So maybe we get a live performance. But we've got another track here called I Don't Care. And again, let me say this, because I know there is an explicit warning on your album. We're internet radio, so we're not beholden to any kind of FCC rules. So if there's a couple of bad words that fly in this thing, it's okay. I'm just saying for the audience, we don't generally put cuss words.
Gotcha.
Play those. But if there happens to be, y'all don't mess with me, okay? I put these songs on because it's a local guy. If he throws an F-bomb or an S-bomb, you'll be all right.
It's an S-bomb.
One of the words I don't like to say on the radio. Yeah. You've heard it a million times in your life at this point, all right? So don't send me any emails. I don't care. I'm just a disclaimer there. Again, this one's called I Don't Care. Give me a quick backstory on this one.
My buddy Connor Arthur lives out in Concan, or he's living in the New Braunfels area now, but he's kind of the one who's kind of been holding my hand through this whole, recording deal and music business. He also took courses out at SPC, so he knew all the ins and outs. He's a little bit older than me, and I played with him. He has a band called the Drop Tines out of Concan, and they needed a guitar player to help them out 2 weekends, and we opened up for Kevin Fowler and Mickey and the Motor Cars. But we were practicing out there on the House Pastor stage, and we stayed up late one night just drinking and doing not so good things, and we got a song out of it, and it was this one. It was just I don't really know what the song's about. I mean, obviously I don't care, but it was just kind of one of those things that we stumbled upon that line, and it had a good little guitar riff to it or whatever, and we just followed that. So it's kind of left up for interpretation, I guess. But
right on. Okay.
The more I sing it and the more I listen to it, it's just talking about, I don't know. I guess I don't care about a lot of things sometimes, especially
just raw rebellion.
Yeah, and it's kind of a universal truth, I guess, because it's just like, especially with nowadays, you can get into anything with politics or anything like that. And when I listen to it, sometimes it's like, I don't care about all this stuff that's going on. I'm just here to play music and have a good time, and I don't care. So it's not a political tune, but again, you can morph it into whatever.
However however it resonates. Very good. All right. So again, this is Jerry Almaraz off his new album, B-Sides, and this one's called I Don't Care. You're hearing it right here on UvaldeRadio.net.
Texas Country at the Crossroads with Robert Miguel, featuring the best country music from the Lone Star State. Live from Uvalde, Texas, the Crossroads of Texas and America.
All right, it's UvaldeRadio.net. We are live at the Uvalde Grand Opera House upstairs in the beautiful White Room overlooking Downtown Plaza. Another reminder, it is Foursquare Friday this evening, rain or shine, extended shopping hours at participating downtown businesses. A lot of times there's complimentary food and drink. There will be vendors with food and merchandise on the plaza, including a silent auction to benefit the Uvalde Honey Festival. Again, that's all going on downtown tonight, 6 to 9 p.m. And there's live music at Broadway 830 featuring Jerry Almaraz, who we just heard, a song called I Don't Care off his newly released EP called B-Sides. Jerry's here. What's up, my man? Woo!
I'm here, man. I'm getting through it.
So give us a quick recap on your rough night last night. You were just telling me about you had a rough night.
Yeah, so that College Station crowd, like I said, doesn't get out till 11 o'clock. So I had a set from 11:30 to 1, and they don't close till 2. So that 1 o'clock, I kind of played a little longer. He's just asking your requests or whatever, if anyone had just having a good time out there. So it didn't end till about 2. Then clean up at 2:30. Then Whataburger and going to friend's house after that.
We're talking about 2 could become 5 very quick.
Yeah, so I didn't get to bed till 7 a.m. and then woke up 3 hours later at 10 and hauled butt down here.
And some people might, the life of a musician or entertainer or even somebody in the industry that works at a club, or does booking, whatnot. I think people tend to view some of these people as like night owls, irresponsible party people.
No.
But the reality is, if you're working and your job gets you out at 2 a.m. because that's when the club starts, think about the average 9-to-5er. They might go get Starbucks or get a couple of beers with their buddies after work,
right.
Which, happy hour is a couple of hours.
Right.
If your job gets out at 2, a lot of times you're not going to get home till 4 or 5 because most of us have to wind down after our work.
Right.
And an entertainer, that's the hours.
Yeah, it's just a different
it's a lifestyle,
schedule.
Man. It's crazy. And and bad things do happen at night. So,
yeah, they do.
Prayers for all my people in the industry because it can be a hard life. Now, you won't have that problem tonight. You got a 7 to 10 gig here in lovely little old Uvalde, Texas, so it'll be a nice, safe endeavor.
Always fun.
Let's go ahead and talk about your shows. You do shows all over the area. Obviously, you get some gigs out, in San Antonio and Austin too. Who have you networked with, and where might we be able to see Jerry play?
College Station is where I'm living right now, so I've been playing just bars around there and networking a lot with a lot of different musicians in that kind of Texas music scene in College Station. And that kind of the reason I moved out there. I love College Station, but it's really a college circuit as far as kind of what Texas country is doing a lot nowadays. So between Lubbock and College Station, and they'll kind of do Fort Worth, which isn't, it's a college town, but not really. And then San Marcos at Cheatham Street, and they're kind of just playing all Bonita Creek Hall and Nacogdoches, and they're just playing to a lot of college kids.
So how does that network work? Do you have buddies from those cities that will swap a show with you, like you'll open for them and then they'll open for you,
like last night,
or they provide a place to crash, or you do kind of tip for tat kind of thing,
stuff like that. It's just kind of. You go to Lubbock and I live in College Station, so a buddy of mine will come from Lubbock and we'll do a song swap in College Station, and then the people who have been coming to my shows will pick up on his music, and then I'll go do the same thing in Lubbock or do the same thing out in Stephenville or something like that.
And that's the way to do it, man. That's how you grow the audience and
pretty organic.
And get some good partners, allies in the field as well too. So you got this 3-track. EP, out. What's the plan? To record more music? Are you going to use this as kind of your, a touring promotional mechanism for a while?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely wanting to get back in the studio and a lot. Like I'm ready. Most of these venues, like I open up for John Bauman the 12th of June in College Station at Smitty K's, which is a fairly pretty well known venue out there, and John Bauman's a pretty big name in Texas country right now, and all those like that with the Drop Tines out in Concan at House Pasture, we got another show which is just another opening act, but it's usually about a 45-minute set. So with 3 songs, obviously you can't play for 45 minutes. So what I'm wanting to do is at least get 9 to 10 songs. So probably release another one with 6 or 7 on the record, and then that way we can at least have a full set to do live for these opening acts.
So now, do you plan to being more of a solo guy? Are you going to try to play a full band? Because I know you play the harmonica.
Right.
Obviously, you've got friends in the studio, and we'll talk about the recording of the album here in a minute. But is the goal to be a full band, or to have a backing band, or just to kind of do hired guns?
I do want to have a full band, and I'm looking to make a move to Stephenville. I got a drummer out there and a lead guitarist, and we're probably all going to live in the same house and do like the actual band stuff. Maybe get a van and just pack up in that and do the whole deal. But I've always loved the thought of bands.
And you feel like this place is good, like a good home base kind of thing?
Yeah, and well, they love Stephenville, and I'm like, I'm going to have to just compromise. I don't really like...
There's a college out there, right?
Tarleton.
Tarleton, yes, absolutely, yeah. And they're partiers at Tarleton.
Oh, yeah.
So
they don't rely too heavy on their academics out there.
No, they don't.
And there's dollar beers everywhere.
I don't think that tuition's too high.
Yeah. So, and again, they love that town, and I'm like, if I want to make music with them, I'm going to have to move over there because they're too stubborn to leave. So I might be making that move and taking, making a sacrifice upon my pleasures just to go.
But you know what I mean?
Play music with them.
Being open to that kind of era, that scene, that area, and then of course your contacts already down here in Southwest Texas, along with Central Texas, might actually be real good for you.
And we're only an hour away in Stephenville. You're only an hour away from Fort Worth and Dallas. We can make that.
That's an easy networking.
Make that hop, and then Lubbock is far from everything, obviously, but from there it's like 3 hours. From anywhere else, it's 6, 7. So, and that might make it, half decent. Austin's only a 2-hour drive from there too.
Well, cool, man. Sounds like a good plan. I hope that works out for you. Yeah. Again, we've got Jerry Almaraz here. He's playing tonight at Broadway 830 locally here in Uvalde. Excited about that from 7 to 10 p.m. Again, Foursquare Friday is tonight, so it'll be a great time to be downtown in Uvalde. Let's go ahead and talk about the actual recording of the record. You got 3 tracks. Who'd you work with? What studio did you go to? What were the tricks? And what was the good and the bad of the recording process?
We recorded it out in Dripping Springs. Maybe you can call it Austin. With Taylor Tatch. He was, I can't remember the lady's name, the chick's name that he used to be the lead guitarist for. Anyway, she's a big name country star now, and he was her lead guitarist, and he got off the road and had, I guess, some royalty money and whatnot, probably from everything, and put it.
I know that Martina McBride's ex-guitarist or something like that works in that area. Is that her? Or
no, I can't remember her name. Starts with an M. It slips my mind all the time. I'll figure it out here in a sec. But sorry, I'm trying to think of the name.
I know. No, it's you're going to be stuck now. That's all right. All right. So
we recorded with him, Taylor Tatch, and it was a big learning experience, honestly. Another one of my buddies, Colt and Connor of the Drop Tines, we used Colt for the studio drummer, and then Taylor played a lot of the lead stuff and bass and whatnot. So it was very much a solo project in there. But yeah, it was a huge learning experience, especially. I've always had a guitar to play behind, what I mean? If I'm on stage, I'm always hiding behind the guitar kind of deal.
So it's like a security blanket.
Yeah. We got in the studio, and I put the headphones on, and you just got a mic in yourself.
What do you do with your hands, right?
Yeah.
And that changes the dynamic of your performance.
Yeah. It's hard to you almost got to psych yourself out to get into. So, and working with keys and stuff as well, because like a lot of these songs I just write in my bedroom or whatever. So you get in the studio, and then you're having to kind of sing over instruments and whatnot, and it's like you got to kind of change.
And then your live stuff. I mean, you're probably not used to working with a click track,
right? Yeah.
So it was especially with folksy type stuff.
Yeah.
You're not beholden to like a set tempo. You can kind of have the ebb and flow of your mood.
You got drums and
but
everything
nowadays in
behind.
the studio, everything has to be exact
on the click. So it was just a huge learning experience, and it was fun. We polished off a few drinks in there as well, and just made it a great time, and everyone
like an 80s rock video,
it was a great time, honestly. Connor, like I keep referencing him, he's with the Drop Tines. He came out there this second day when I was doing vocals and guitars and stuff like that, and we just made it a big party, and had fun in there, and we'd mess up on a track or something like that and joke about it, and then come back to it, and it really was a fun experience.
Now, how about the funding of it all? Is this all your money that you've earned? And
just I got I had a gig out in Concan over the summer when Corona hit and all that. They had that capacity deal. Everywhere has capacity. At Dry 50, one of the T-shirt shops down there, they had like a 30-person capacity deal, and if you've ever gone into that shop, there's always hundreds of people in there just trying to, get in. So if you put a capacity deal, there's a whole bunch of people outside. Well, the people, I know the people who own the place, and they called me and they were like, "Hey, we got tons of people waiting outside. We want to do something nice for them, and just have music or whatever." So I played for them every day throughout the summer.
It's like a residency, right?
Yeah, 100%. I played Tuesday through Sunday.
Wow.
every day. Yeah,
That's a steady gig, man.
Oh yeah, and then people, tourists would hear me down there and say, "Hey, we got a cabin here. Can we book you for a private gig tonight?" And then there's other, like places in Lakey that I was playing, or come back here to Broadway or the Hangar on a Friday or something like that. So I'd play the morning out there at Dry 50 in Concan, and then at night it was either private gigs or venues around the area and whatnot. And so people were like, "Well, I lost money," especially musicians. I lost money during Corona. I was like, I made all my money during Corona.
That's been a recurring theme in these interviews that we do weekly with a lot of the Texas country artists that are capable of doing solo acoustic shows. Actually, they flourish. So your Aaron Watsons, your Kevin Fowlers, your Randy Rogers bands, guys with two buses and a crew. They couldn't do nothing. But if you're a guy with a guitar and you're willing to go out to a sports bar, or a patio restaurant, they did really well. And it was an interesting year because I think that it changed. It gave the little guy a leg up a little bit.
Definitely.
Which is ironic, because the world kind of fell apart,
Right.
And good on you, man, for recognizing that and really embracing it, because I think there are unfortunately, some people that didn't really make it work for them.
Yeah.
For instance, like on my end, on the radio business, a lot of people were shutting down, doing less stuff, but the less that was going on, the more I realized, I was like, well, that's less competition. There's less people doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So if I'm willing to get out there and do a live remote, or sell this advertising, or do this promotion, then I'll be the go-to guy. And if you're the go-to guy in a time when nobody's doing anything, you're going to flourish. So man, that's cool, man. Self-funded,
100%.
So what was the hardest part, I guess, in the recording process?
Man, I would probably say, like I said, vocals probably, and that was one of the things that I was kind of.
Were they really hard on you, making you really kind of work? Or did they kind of just take your style and kind of roll with it?
No, we rolled with it, but it was more about, I'm just kind of a perfectionist, I guess, about me liking it, and I was just kind of wasn't feeling it. I don't know what it was. And the thing about that was it was too late to change the keys, because you've already recorded everything as far as instruments go. So it was like, we're in this key, we just got to make it work, and it was, so that was probably the only thing. But at the same time, I would 100%, I would never take that for granted, because that was something that I learned, that it'll stick with me for the rest of my musician, like as being a musician, is like when you come into the studio, you have to have it all mapped out. And
you'll never make that mistake again.
No, never again.
Or if you won't even call it a mistake.
It worked out it worked out the way we wanted it to, but even that little moment where it was kind of iffy, I was like, I'm writing this down. I don't even got to write it down. It's written down in my brain forever.
Now, without giving out every single credit, because I'm sure you have a big cast, how much of it is you? Are you doing a lot of the guitar? Are you just doing vocals? Are you the harmonica guy too?
So harmonica, vocals, rhythm guitar, and then, like I said, the producer, Taylor, he did lead guitar and bass. Cool. And then Colt Wrangler, one of our buddies, played drums on it.
Now, on those lead tracks, did he just write them himself? It
was just very spontaneous. If you listen to the record too, it's nothing. I mean, he did a great job, but it's just kind of he's playing a lot of rhythm over it, and then he did a great job on the solos. He did all the solo stuff for that. So, it was quick. There weren't a lot of tracks or anything like that. We did that all in 2 days. So 3 songs, 2 days. It was quick. Just got in there, got out, and
hey, man, like I said, I'm just excited that somebody local is getting out there and hustling, making some music, and getting out there and representing Uvalde. And you mentioned this on the before we got on the air, but when you're playing College Station or you're playing to be able to say, hey, shout out to Uvalde, or just having your name from Uvalde, or in the liner notes or the description or whatever the club's booking you from, that's great. What a way to kind of carry the torch for the hometown.
Yes,
we got one more track that we can play off the new thing, so let's go and do it. Where are you going?
Yes, sir.
So does this have any particular...
It started off as like a kind of a real long story kind of song, and it was just, I guess, kind of a love song as far as like where are you going, like a guy or girl leaving, but... It kind of morphed into like its own little thing as I edited the song and kind of went back and scratched out lines and put new lines in. It just kind of turns into a story of its own. Starts off as usually that's how kind of my songwriting goes. I'll take my own experience and put it into a song, and then kind of take out the small details that are very personal, I guess, and make it more universal, and just kind of roll with that, and hopefully just someone can find a way to relate to it and whatnot, because that's the kind of music I kind of want to put out.
Right on, man.
Yeah,
well, let's check it out. Again, this is Jerry Almaraz. The new album is called B-Sides, and the song here is called Where Are You Going? And this is UvaldeRadio.net.
Only hear what I want to hear. I plead for pleasure with this pipe of peace. The sun, it rises and disappears. These burning bowls are my release. Fists are flying all of a sudden. I knocked away all your hope, it seems. I'll say thundering by the dozen. The spider flight ain't no in between. You cry out alone, a gruesome gravel groan, and every punch that's thrown finds you. You bleed into the bone, bare knuckles to the dome. Nowhere to run, but you try to. That I said back some 32 weeks. I never wanted to leave you for dead. You should have never left it to me. You cry out alone, a gruesome gravel groan, and every punch just don't find you. You're bleeding to the bone, you're reaching for your phone, but ain't no one gonna find you.
Texas Country at the Crossroads with Robert Miguel. Live from Uvalde, Texas, the crossroads of Texas and America.
That's right, UvaldeRadio.net, live at the Uvalde Grand Opera House upstairs in the White Room, and having a great time. We do it every Friday, 4 p.m., featuring the best and up-and-coming Texas country artists. And we got Jerry Almaraz this summer. Now, I wouldn't say you're really a Texas country artist, per se, genre-wise, but you're doing that. You're doing Texas, and it's country, and you get a little bit of folk, a little bit of rock,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How would you describe, if you had to put yourself in a genre?
Probably like an Americana type of alt country type of deal.
Alt country.
Yeah.
That's a phrase I'm looking. I actually said that before you got on the air.
Yes, sir.
I think that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. You remind me a little bit of. Do you ever follow this guy named Todd Snyder?
Yeah.
Oh man, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But you remind me a little bit of what he's.
Yeah,
what he's got
I listen
going
to
on.
Todd Snyder. It's kind of just a. I don't know. I kind of like to describe it kind of like what Petty did.
Yeah.
Petty did a lot of you hear it now and you think it's country, but
Right.
he also has those barn burners that are just like pure on rock songs.
Well, and there's a southern rock thing that's kind of very country and rock.
His influences were like Elvis and all the old Hank Williams Sr. and stuff like that. So
it's interesting you brought up Tom Petty, because I also kind of got a listening to stuff kind of almost like a traveling Wilburys kind of vibe. That's kind of cool. But it makes sense because we mentioned mentioning Dylan and now Petty, which makes sense
Jeff
why that came to
Lynne
my brain. So man, well, good stuff. Well, Jerry, you got your guitar in hand. You got the harmonica strapped on. Now, tell me first of all, I always wanted to know about what's that harmonica thing called?
Contraption. If anyone's ever seen Finding Nemo, and there's that girl with the big old like I guess braces back in the day. You used to have that big old halo looking deal around your face. That's kind of what I like to think of it as. But it's just I don't know.
But does it have a name? Like, is there a name for it?
Just a weird contraption.
Now,
I don't know.
Is that one that's store bought? That's what it is. Or did you make that like in your
This
shop?
is store bought and
Okay.
everything. Yeah, it felt weird until I saw a Neil Young video and he was wearing the same deal. So I was, and you know, Bob Dylan and all them wear it too. So I'm like,
sure.
I gotta wear it. You know?
No, there's a coolness to them, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
It's
If
different, though.
You can see a guy with a guitar and one of those things. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, this is going to be cool.
A certain
You get
certain
psyched
kind
up
of-
for what's happening.
certain
so,
vibe.
So you got your guitar ready to go. Let's go. What are you going to play for us here?
We'll do Eternity.
Okay.
Play that song. Yeah, here we go. Heaven knows what's coming up the road, driving like the headlights have been killed forever. Any dreams that it'll never end, mind and the heart never get along together. Days pass and another sun rises, and it sits on the elephant in the room. It is in the back of his mind, dancing in the night to the rhythm of a full moon. There they go to the rhythm of a full moon. As she sits with a fist in her cheek, eyes gaze blankly out into the distance. To this point there's been many good times, thoughts like this always been non-existent. Days pass and another sun rises, and it sits on the elephant in the room. There it is in the back of his mind, dancing in the night to the rhythm of a full moon. There they go to the rhythm of a full moon. Blank stares and hospital chairs, you can always count on tequila and bad weather. And her heart is already gone, 'cause eternity's not for the life of a wildflower. Days pass and another sun rises, and it sits on the elephant. There it is in the back of his mind, dancing in the night, the rhythm of a full moon. Days pass and another sun rises, and it sits on the elephant. There it is in the back of his mind, dancing in the night, the rhythm of a full moon. There they go, the rhythm of a full moon. There they go, just jaywalking on the moon.
Yeah, there you go. Jerry Almaraz live here on UvaldeRadio.net.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Man,
that.
I don't never understood how you guys are, coordinated enough to do that harmonica thing,
Yeah.
and then sing like instantly. It's like I
I don't know.
spit all up in mine.
Yeah.
Was that like a hard tool to learn to use? It had to be.
Whenever I like people, because I was self-taught, but whenever I'd like people ask me, how did you learn? It was weird. It was like a lot of these things, I'd stay in my room all night kind of doing them, and it just sounded like absolute crap. You know what I mean? Finger picking was the same way with me. I could never finger pick, and I'd watch videos and listen to songs, try to get it down, and it just sounded like crap. And then it was weird. It was like I'd kind of get it, but not really. It still sounded bad. And then I'd wake up one morning, and it would just flow. It was kind
Right.
of weird. It was very magical, kind of. Everyone says to like learn things right before you go to sleep, because when you wake up, you have that. I don't know what your brain does while you're asleep.
It processes it for you. Your subconscious probably just puts the pieces together, like defrags your brain.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how a lot of that stuff happened. And it would harmonica, especially like I never really, I don't know anything about harmonica. I just play it in a way if it sounds good to my ear, I just kind of roll with it. So, and that I don't know. That's kind of just been what a lot of what I do is just if it sounds like that was like a lot of the studio deal too. It's like, hey Taylor, we're talking to our producer. It's like I kind of want to go for like a Paul McCartney vibe on this bass line. You know what I mean? if you put in musician's terms, he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
I have no idea. It's just like a little Petty here, a little Paul McCartney, a little bit of that, a little bit of the, and it was like it just makes for a good dynamic, I guess, in some songs.
No,
so.
and it's cool. It's cool that you got a good vibe. It's also a cool aesthetic, And again, like I said earlier at the top of the interview, knowing that somebody that's your age doing this kind of more Americana folky kind of stuff is really interesting. What is that sound? Is that a okay. There's a recital going on next door. We're at the Uvalde Grand Opera House, and the Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy just came on. I was like, is that an ice cream truck? There's a recital going on behind us in the big auditorium. So we do have to wrap it up here in a minute. Getting ready to the end here of Texas Country at the Crossroads. Again, featuring Jerry Almaraz, local boy. Be sure and get his his new album called Besides, and available on which platforms can he stream it or buy it?
Anything as far as
I know it's on Amazon. I thought there. Yeah.
Amazon Music, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify. I always joke around Napster, LimeWire, all these old deals. But
hit me up on AIM.
Yeah, I'm dating myself now. But no, like anything that has to do with streaming, it's like the distributor we went through. I think it send it to like 50 different platforms.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah,
it's
whatever.
Pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, anything and everything that anyone uses, it probably is on there. So
hey, I wanted to make one more observation because we get a lot of artists coming through here, and most of them play the guitar for us like you did, and it's interesting to see because you got more of a rock in, like you said, the Petty, the Dylan, the folk side of it. But they'll come in here, they'll play the guitar, but it's you're like strumming, like you're a guy, you're built too, like you're a good physique,
yes sir,
and you're playing, man, like it's strumming. Nobody normally plays their acoustic guitars as loud as you do in here.
That is funny you say that because like I've been swapping out guitars to pay rent. Really, I had a real high end guitar, and I sold it and kind of got this one's still a good guitar, very good guitar. But I was kind of shopping around, and they give you that like 60-day window where you could take it home and play it, and if you want to return it within the 60 days, you're good. So I went through like 3 guitars, and I'd play and I'm like, I don't know what it is that they don't sound good on. Well, I was buying these short scale guitars, and whenever you buy short scale guitars, it gets real muddy when you have a heavy hand. So I was like, I'm just figuring all this stuff out as I go, and it's like
heavy hand, I guess is what they
call
it.
Yeah, I have a really heavy hand. So like it's and especially like right now, I have a heavy hand in this white room, but when I get on stage and emotions are going and you're feeding off a crowd, his hand is heavier than all get out.
It's the Nirvana 90s grunge rocker in you.
So it's
like
it's really what it is.
Kurt Cobain fling the guitar around, you're gonna rock it out, man.
So it's just I don't know. It's just I get real. I guess it's just the music gets me going, but like especially again on stage.
Now, is that something? Like if you write a more intimate song where you have to really try to bring it back to keep it a little bit more,
or use my fingers. It'll kind of get a little bit.
Just be gentle.
Yeah, get a little quieter.
Treat it like a lady.
Yeah, exactly. Or I do some songwriting on the piano.
Okay.
I'm not very well versed on piano.
Again, not a critique, just an observation.
No,
it's just interesting.
No, yeah, but like on the piano, I know like maybe 5 chords, and so I'll just play those, get a little melody going, and I'm like, okay, I know what I'm playing here, and then I can take it back to the guitar or do vice versa. But the piano, sometimes I have like little things that I can mess with, so I can do like an organ where it's very church sounding and worship sounding. So like the melody that I sing over that worship stuff will be different than one that I'm just pounding on a guitar. So just different instruments will kind of bring out different melodies, and I'll have a synth deal on there, do like some 80s pop kind of stuff, synth pop, so like...
I'm still convinced The Weeknd is just doing 80s music, just so you know, I'll put that out there as often as I can. So every time I hear The Weeknd, I'm like, that's just a song from the 80s that people recycled, man.
Oh, yeah. I just bought this book, it's called Sounds Like Teen Spirit instead of Smells Like Teen Spirit, and it's just talking about how all this, like, just how everyone rips off everyone, basically.
Right.
And it's like... So it's kind of funny looking through all these things.
Just 3 chords, man.
Yeah, especially in pop music. So.
And honestly, I got no problem with it. I mean,
I don't either.
If you can use that formula and still manage to make it sound kind of like your own, I got mad respect for it.
Right, no, 100%.
Because people have been writing songs since the first.
Everyone says there's
grunted.
There's only 12 notes, so you can only do so much. So and if you're influenced by. Like I said, with Petty or something like that, and I listened to a whole Petty record for 3 months straight. you're going to hear it in my songs the way I write, inevitably.
And the greats are guilty of it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe even more so than some of the pop guys. So
100%.
Very good, man. Well, it's been good talking, man, about music and the new record. Best wishes, man, and I hope everybody gets that, streams it, buys it, whatever they need to do.
Yes, sir.
Go find Jerry Almaraz. Got an official website? Or?
Yeah, JerryAlmarazMusic.com, www.JerryAlmarazMusic.com, kind of getting that whole deal rolling. On my social medias like Instagram, in my bio of my Instagram, I do put a lot of stuff out on Instagram and Facebook. In the bio of both Facebook and Instagram, there's a link tree, which is another website, and you click on that link in my bio, and it'll give you the website, like all of them,
the social medias in one place.
Apple Music, Spotify, kind of give you all the links and whatnot. So that's a good place. And my Instagram handle's Jerry 2_ Almaraz, and then on Facebook just Jerry Almaraz. So should be easy to find. I know the Almaraz is kind of a struggle to spell sometimes for people, which is rightfully so. It's not common at all.
I figured out how to spell it. I saw it. I'm like, okay, I can spell that. I just don't know how to say it. So that's
it's not common. So that's another thing with coming up with like a band name. We're going to do something easy where one word where people will remember it and everything.
DJs especially appreciate that. Very good.
100%.
All right, so again, Jerry Almaraz here. The new album is called B-Sides. He's playing tonight. Don't miss it. Broadway 830, 100 East Main Street. You know where it is if you're local. Right there in the beautiful downtown Uvalde. Again, it's Foursquare Friday. Extended shopping hours tonight. They're already setting up on the plaza. They're going to be doing Foursquare Friday rain or shine tonight. Jerry's playing 7 to 10 in the Broadway 830 outdoor courtyard. Again, delicious artisan pizza, cold craft beer. Get one of those beer flights. Have you ever had one of those?
I have. They're good.
They're really good, and they're not pricey at all.
No, they're really good.
It's like what, $10 for pretty good.
Yeah, you get a little buzz off of that one.
Yeah. I think I'm going to do that tonight. So maybe we'll mix and match. We'll see what we got going on. So y'all come out and see us tonight in downtown Uvalde. That's going to wrap it up here for Texas Country at the Crossroads. This is UvaldeRadio.net. Thank you, Jerry.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.